Hi, this is Sean Weaver for Six String Country, and in this lesson we'll be taking a look at Wildwood Flower. It's a traditional American tune that's been sung by a lot of singers and was brought into the fingerstyle guitar repertoire by Chet Atkins. And we'll be taking a look at the tune through several different keys, and I'll also be introducing you to a new technique that you can use in your fingerstyle guitar arrangements called the three-fingered roll. So this is certainly an intermediate piece. We're going to be adding some things on top of the basic building blocks we've been working on up to this point. So as always, if there are any questions or you feel you could use any clarification about the building blocks, please refer back to the Introduction to Fingerstyle Guitar Techniques lesson. And with that, we'll get into the tune. The arrangement begins with this new concept called the three-finger roll, and I want you to get into the technique immediately by just playing a song with it. So I'll explain the technique a bit briefly, and then we'll be ready to start right on the top of the tune. So the three-fingered roll is your thumb in the right hand, followed by your index finger, followed by your middle finger. And they're going to occur in quick succession. It's usually in a triplet pattern, and that allows you to move through all six strings, or sometimes, depending on the rhythm that you would like to fill, you don't need to go through all six, but it occurs in groups of three. So, for example, if you take a regular G chord, and the tune will begin in the key of G on a G chord, I would use my thumb on the sixth string and my index finger on the fifth string and my middle finger on the fourth string. And if I were counting that, 1, 2, 3, 4, triplet. So it's in a triplet, and that's the first group of three. If I were to move down across the next set of strings, it would be. So see what I did there is I went starting on the fifth string, so sixth string, fifth string, fourth string, to fifth string, fourth string, third string. So your right hand is just moving downward by one string, and you're gradually moving through the guitar. If I were to follow that up, I would then begin on the fourth string after that, fourth string, third string, second string, and I could finish that with third string, second string, first string. In this next section, we move on to a thumb picking part in the key of G. So we'll be leading into it from the last measure where we finished up the brushing section. So we finished the brushing section on the low G on beat 1, and the melody now into the thumb picking will begin on beats 3 and 4. So it's just a pickup. It's a lead-in to beat 1 on the melody. So the melody will begin like that, and those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And it's on beat 1 where our thumb will be back in the 6th string, on the 6th string, and go into the alternating bass pattern we've talked so much about. And now the melody will be covered by our right hand fingers. So that'll begin like this, out of a G shape. It'll be I already went through a couple different chords there. So to break that down, we're leading in from the open B string on the melody to the 1st fret on the 2nd string, that's a C note, and then into the melody itself. So isolated, the melody. And now we modulate into the key of A. And again, we'll begin on beat 3 and lead into the main melody. So I'm going to play it nice and slowly for you. Our thumb picking will continue, and we'll also be using some more of those 3-fingered rolls in this section. So nice and slowly, what we'll be learning will sound like this. Now, in this next part, the melody will remain the same. We'll stay in the key of A, but we're going to start adding some more harmonic variety to it. Chet did this in a lot of his arrangements, and it's a great technique for arranging for the guitar in general, whatever kind of tune you might be arranging. So the melody that would sound exactly like what we were doing against the A chord in the previous thumb picking section, the A and the E7 chords actually, because the chords changed according with the melody. But what if we now added in some chords in between that we weren't hearing before? It would sound like this. We might even repeat it if it really sounded good. Add a roll. A nice arpeggio, back thumb picking. So at this point, we're going to go into the key of C, and this is actually Chet's key where he played the tune at. And although I've arranged it for solo guitar for you, a lot of times Chet would play this with his rhythm section, and it allowed him the luxury of taking single note solos and doing other creative things to keep the tune interesting. When you're just playing solo guitar, that is a good part of taking you through multiple keys, as well as it's a good way of learning the fingerboard and the instrument, and you'll learn more chords that way and where melodies, are on different parts of the fingerboard. So for all those reasons, I've taken you through several keys, but now we're going to go to Chet's key where he played this and more or less play the thumb picking part that he played when he played this tune. So I've taken you through A a couple different times, the second time around with some variations. And when we're coming out of that, we'll be coming out of it from the E7 chord into the A chord, just as a recap of where we've been before we talk about where we're going. E chord to the E chord. Well, this is just, the difference is you started out with a bar, which you then broke. But it's the same concept. So again, even across keys, concepts translate. And here we're back to a regular C shape. I'm going want you to have your pinky there on the 3rd fret of the high E string because that's the melody. So you always have to honor the melody. You can change a lot of things about a tune when you're arranging it, but you don't want to go too crazy altering the melody. You want to have a lot of respect for the melody. You know, Chet occasionally would change a melody just a little bit, but it certainly is just a matter of degree. You want it to basically be the melody that people know and love and serve the song.